The entire history of International Harvester is a saga of power, ambition, and industry-shaping innovation. From its formation in 1902, backed by J.P. Morgan in a sweeping merger that reshaped American manufacturing, International Harvester didn't stop at revolutionizing farming. It expanded boldly into construction, defense, and even home appliances, producing everything from world-famous Farmall tractors to military trucks and the iconic Scout SUV. But behind every innovation lay fierce competition, labor strikes, and scandals that nearly toppled the company. What risks and rivalries fueled IH's rise and eventual fall? Join us as we uncover the untold history of an industrial empire where every success came at a high cost. Our story begins with two pioneering families and two very different paths, one that led to a small farm in Virginia and the other to the fertile plains of Illinois. Cyrus Hall McCormick and William Deering would one day be the driving forces behind International Harvester, but each was shaped by his own unique journey and the demands of the young American nation. Cyrus McCormick, born on February 15, 1809, grew up on his family's farm in Virginia. The McCormicks were a family of farmers, not overly wealthy, but comfortable enough to pursue innovation. Young Cyrus had little formal education, but was a mechanical prodigy. His father, Robert McCormick, was also a tinkerer and inventor, trying to create a machine that could help with one of the most back-breaking tasks on the farm: harvesting grain. Cyrus watched his father's relentless efforts, seeing firsthand the trials and errors that came with invention. But in 1831, at the age of just 22, Cyrus made a breakthrough. He perfected the reaper, a machine that could cut grain and make the harvest far easier. The reaper was met with mixed reactions, yet Cyrus's vision was clear. He was determined to transform agriculture forever. Meanwhile, on the other side of the nation, another agricultural innovator was emerging. William Deering was born on April 25, 1826, in South Paris, Maine. Unlike McCormick, who grew up on a farm, Deering's background was in business. Deering's parents owned a modest woolen mill, and he spent his early years helping with the family business, learning the skills of negotiation, finance, and trade. While he wasn't directly involved in farming, he saw an opportunity to improve agricultural tools and make farming less labor-intensive. His business acumen would later serve as a powerful complement to McCormick's ingenuity. These two men would later become rivals, then reluctant allies, and finally the foundation of an industry-shaking merger. But how did they cross paths, and what would bring them together to form what would eventually be known as International Harvester? As McCormick's reaper gained traction, he found himself facing one of the most challenging tasks for any inventor: scaling production. He moved to Chicago in 1847 to build a factory, a move that would later position him at the heart of American industry. Cyrus was relentless in promoting his reaper, and he developed aggressive marketing and sales tactics, offering customers easy financing and setting up networks of sales agents. These bold moves drew criticism and sparked envy among his competitors, but they also turned McCormick's reaper into one of the most sought-after tools in American agriculture. His factory in Chicago was one of the largest agricultural machinery factories in the world, and McCormick himself became a household name. However, success didn't come without scandal. Cyrus McCormick faced multiple lawsuits from competitors who claimed he'd stolen their designs. The most famous was the case against Obed Hussey, another inventor who had created a competing reaper. The legal battles were lengthy and costly and tarnished McCormick's reputation as a gentleman inventor. Yet each case fueled his determination. McCormick eventually won most of his suits, but the conflicts underscored the cutthroat nature of the industry. On the other hand, William Deering took a different approach. Unlike McCormick, who focused on invention and manufacturing, Deering concentrated on distribution and sales. He established the Deering Harvester Company, which became known for its dependable harvesters. Deering prioritized relationships with farmers, offering reliable equipment and excellent customer service. By the 1870s, Deering was McCormick's strongest competitor, and the two companies were engaged in a fierce rivalry that became legendary in agricultural circles. But this rivalry would be set aside when, in the early 1900s, a new force emerged: J.P. Morgan, one of the most influential financiers of the era. Morgan saw an opportunity to consolidate the agricultural machinery industry, which was plagued by fierce competition and inefficiency. He envisioned a single, powerful entity that could dominate the market, and so the seeds of International Harvester were planted. What would Morgan gain by merging these two rivals? And how did McCormick and Deering, who had spent years at each other's throats, agree to join forces? At the turn of the century, J.P. Morgan was already a giant in American finance, known for his role in consolidating companies and shaping entire industries. His influence was unmatched, and his eye for opportunity was razor-sharp. The agricultural equipment market was fragmented, and in Morgan's view, ripe for consolidation. Morgan saw McCormick and Deere as the industry's strongest players, and he believed that merging their companies would create an unstoppable force in agricultural machinery. In 1902, Morgan approached McCormick and Deere with a proposition: combine their companies to form the International Harvester Company, IHC. The deal promised financial security, market dominance, and the power to outmaneuver any competitor. But there was a catch. Cyrus McCormick Jr., the son of Cyrus Hall McCormick, and Charles Deering would have to set aside their rivalry and work together. The men reluctantly agreed, and with Morgan's backing, International Harvester was officially founded in August 1902. The merger was unprecedented, combining 5 companies, including McCormick Harvesting Machine Company, Deering Harvester Company, and 3 smaller firms. The newly formed IH Company, valued at $150 million, quickly became the largest agricultural machinery manufacturer in the world, controlling an overwhelming 85% of the market for U.S. grain harvesting equipment. The McCormicks owned 42.6% of International Harvester, the Deering's 34.4%, while Morgan and the smaller company's owners held the balance. However, this power came with controversy. The public and government viewed Morgan's business practices with suspicion, accusing him of creating monopolies that stifled competition. The Sherman Antitrust Act had recently been enacted, and critics argued that International Harvester was a blatant violation. The Sherman Antitrust Act, passed in 1890, is a U.S. federal law aimed at promoting fair competition by prohibiting monopolistic practices and unlawful restraints on trade. It makes it illegal for businesses to form cartels, trusts, or engage in anti-competitive agreements that restrict market competition. But that's exactly what the founders of IH did. J.P. Morgan, McCormick, and Deering faced intense scrutiny, and International Harvester was nearly broken up. The company's reputation suffered, and the founders were forced to defend their creation in court. This legal battle would haunt International Harvester for years, adding a layer of intrigue to its rapid rise. Despite the legal challenges, International Harvester surged ahead, introducing groundbreaking innovations that would redefine agriculture. The company's engineers worked tirelessly to develop new machinery, from tractors to threshers and plows. Therefore, it was not surprising that in 1909, International Harvester was ranked as the 4th largest industrial company in the US based on assets. 8 years later, in 1917, it was larger than major corporations like General Electric, Ford, and General Motors. It produced more farm equipment than all its competitors combined. To put things into perspective, it was 4 times larger than John Deere. In the 1920s and 30s, International Harvester transformed agriculture and transportation with a series of remarkable innovations, each building on the last. In 1921, the S-Series trucks were introduced, celebrated for their reliability and versatility, meeting the growing demands of industry and transport. Just 3 years later, in 1924, IH launched the groundbreaking Farmall tractor, the first of its kind to provide an all-purpose design that streamlined plowing, planting, and cultivating for farmers. The 1925 debut of the International Model 63 street washing truck showcased IH's urban ingenuity, providing specialized solutions for city maintenance. By the early 1930s, IH expanded the Farmall line with the F-Series, including the versatile F20 and F30, enhancing farming efficiency even further. During this time, the heavy-duty A-Series trucks were also produced. These trucks were specially built to handle larger loads and long hauls, addressing the evolving needs of the industry. The 30s also witnessed IH pioneering diesel-powered tractors, bringing unmatched efficiency and power to agricultural operations. Together, these innovations solidified IH's reputation as a leader in mechanization across industries. Before the end of the 1930s, the company was already controlling 44% of the US tractor market. Its Farmall tractor brand alone held double the market share of John Deere. It was that incredible. But International Harvester didn't stop at farming. The company diversified, producing trucks, household appliances, and even military equipment. During World War I, IH supplied the military with trucks and tractors, establishing itself as a key player in the defense industry. This involvement would expand during World War II, when IH manufactured trucks, tanks, and other equipment for the Allies. These contributions solidified IH's place as an industrial powerhouse. However, IH's rapid expansion into various sectors stretched the company thin. By the 1930s, International was struggling to manage its sprawling empire. Internal conflicts erupted between departments, and the company faced criticism for neglecting its core agricultural business. In an attempt to streamline operations, IH restructured its divisions, but the changes were met with resistance. Employees complained about management's decisions, and morale within the company began to decline. As the company grew, so did tensions with its workforce. The 1940s and 1950s were marked by labor unrest across America, and IH was no exception. Workers demanded better wages, safer working conditions, and more job security, leading to a series of strikes that disrupted production. The most famous strike occurred in 1952, when thousands of employees walked off the job, paralyzing IH's factories. The strike lasted for months and cost the company millions of dollars. Management's response was aggressive, with some executives attempting to break the strike by hiring replacement workers. This move angered the union, and the conflict became a national spectacle. The strike eventually ended in a compromise, but the damage was done. Relations between IH and its employees were strained, and the company's reputation suffered. The strikes exposed the challenges of managing a large industrial workforce and highlighted the need for change within IH's corporate structure. As International Harvester grew, so did its ambitions. The drive to diversify began in earnest during the 1940s. With its roots firmly planted in agriculture, IH initially ventured into construction equipment by adapting its agricultural tractors for industrial use. IH's first crawler tractors and bulldozers became popular choices for infrastructure projects, especially during and after World War II. These bulldozers, including the TD-18 model, helped establish IH's reputation in construction machinery. The TD series crawlers would become staples on construction sites and were instrumental in building post-war America. But IH wasn't stopping there. In the 1950s, the company launched the Payline series, a line of wheel loaders, excavators, and backhoes designed for heavy-duty industrial and construction work. The Payloader, an iconic model in the series, was highly regarded for its durability and versatility, finding use in everything from road building to mining. The Payline series marked IH's commitment to construction equipment and sealed the company's determination to diversify beyond its agricultural roots. IH also ventured into household appliances, producing items like milk coolers and stylish kitchen refrigerators, but exited the market by 1955, selling its refrigeration division to Whirlpool. Around the same time, IH found success with the durable Cub Cadet lawn tractors, introduced in 1961, which became a lasting favorite among homeowners and hobbyist gardeners. Each new product line brought its own set of challenges, but IH's determination to dominate multiple sectors was unwavering. IH's foray into the trucking industry began as early as 1907, but it wasn't until the mid-20th century that the company fully committed to building a robust lineup of trucks. Initially, IH focused on producing medium and heavy-duty trucks used in industries like construction, mining, and agriculture. Models like the K-Series and R-Series trucks gained popularity in the 1930s and 40s for their rugged reliability. In the 1960s, IH took a bold step by introducing the Scout SUV, one of the first vehicles in the now popular SUV category. Launched in 1961, the Scout was designed to compete directly with Jeep and cater to outdoor enthusiasts. With its off-road capabilities and durable build, the Scout quickly became a hit among adventure and off-road drivers. The Scout 2, released in the 1970s, became even more popular, solidifying IH's place in the SUV market. Today, the Scout is a beloved classic, celebrated for its ruggedness and versatility. IH's truck lineup continued to grow, with models like the Fleet Star, Loadstar, and Transtar becoming favorites in the commercial trucking industry. These trucks were used in various sectors, from logistics to construction, showcasing IH's commitment to serving the industrial needs of America. The company's diversification extended into the defense sector, particularly during World War II. The company supplied the US military with a range of trucks and military vehicles, including models like the M5H6 and M14 trucks. These rugged vehicles were used for transport and support missions, contributing to the war effort and establishing IH as a reliable supplier for the military. Additionally, IH provided components for military half-tracks and light armor, further strengthening its relationship with the US government. Post-war, International Harvester capitalized on its military connections, continuing to supply vehicles and equipment for defense purposes. The company's military-grade trucks gained a reputation for durability and dependability, which translated into success in the civilian market as well. This alignment with the military not only diversified IH's product line, but also helped solidify its brand image as a provider of tough, reliable machinery. Internationally, IH adapted its models for global markets, producing specialized tractors and trucks for Europe, Asia, and Latin America. The global expansion helped IH tap into new markets, though it came with its own set of challenges. In some regions, IH faced backlash and accusations of exploiting local labor, adding controversy to its global footprint. Nevertheless, IH's international ventures made it a global player in the machine industry, with a presence that spanned continents. Throughout its history, International Harvester was committed to engineering powerful engines, particularly diesel engines, which became a defining product for the company. The DT466 diesel engine became one of the most reliable and popular engines produced by IH, known for its performance and durability in heavy vehicles. The DT466 powered many of IH's trucks, including commercial and school buses, and became a favorite among fleets for its reliability and easy maintenance. This engine remains highly regarded, and its legacy endures through its continued use in various applications. The company also ventured into the school bus market, providing both chassis and bodies for buses. The buses built on IH chassis became a common sight across North America, known for their safety and durability. In addition to large machinery, IH produced a variety of hand tools, small power tools, and farm equipment for everyday tasks on farms and homesteads. These products included everything from power drills to milking machines, providing essential tools for small-scale operations. While these products never reached the iconic status of IH's larger machines, they reinforced IH's commitment to serving the entire farming ecosystem. By the 1970s, International Harvester's portfolio was a massive and complex network of products. Harvester had become a sprawling conglomerate, yet this vast diversification posed significant challenges. Managing such an endless list of products required enormous resources, and IH's leadership was spread thin trying to oversee each division. The financial strain was immense, and the complexity of balancing so many markets led to inefficiencies and mounting debt. Despite these difficulties, the company's ambition was unwavering. The company continued to innovate, releasing new models across its product lines. But the costs of diversification began to outweigh the benefits, and by the 1980s, IH's finances were in crisis. By the early 1980s, the economic challenges IH faced had snowballed into a full-blown crisis. High interest rates made it nearly impossible for IH to refinance its debts, and the company was bleeding cash. To make matters worse, competitors like Caterpillar were gaining ground, putting intense pressure on the company to innovate and cut prices to stay competitive. Yet their financial woes made it difficult to invest in research and development, leaving its product line increasingly outdated. In 1981, International Harvester brought in a new CEO, Archie McArdle, who attempted to turn things around by implementing drastic cost-cutting measures. McArdle ordered layoffs, closed plants, and scaled back production, but the moves did little to stem the financial losses. In a desperate bid to improve cash flow, McArdle sold off parts of IH's business. On October 21, 1980, the iconic Scout SUV line was discontinued as well after it had sold over 500,000 units. The Scout SUV vehicles had a loyal following, but were deemed too costly to maintain production. The decision shocked Scout enthusiasts and signaled to the public that the company was in serious trouble. Then, in 1982, IH workers went on strike, dealing a devastating blow to the struggling company. The strike, which lasted nearly 6 months, halted production and cost IH an estimated $600 million. The timing couldn't have been worse. Already burdened with debt, IH was now unable to fulfill orders or bring in revenue, pushing the company even closer to the brink. When the strike finally ended, International Harvester was left with little hope of recovery. It became clear that without a radical restructuring, IH would not survive. In 1984, the company made a bold decision. It would sell off its agricultural division, the very foundation of the company. This move marked a historic shift for International Harvester, signaling the end of an era for a company that had once defined American agriculture. In a dramatic twist, Tenneco, a diversified industrial conglomerate, purchased International Harvester's agricultural division in 1985. Tenneco had already owned the J.I. Case Company, a major player in agricultural machinery, and saw an opportunity to expand its portfolio by acquiring IH's assets. The acquisition allowed Tenneco to merge IH's agricultural division with Case, creating a new entity, Case IH. This merger marked a new beginning for the IH brand, as it combined the strengths of both companies to create one of the world's largest agricultural equipment manufacturers. The Case IH brand retained much of IH's legacy, including its iconic red color and the popular Farmall tractor line. But for many long-time IH employees and customers, the sale felt like the end of an era. Some even felt betrayed by the acquisition, as they considered working for IH as part of their legacy. The once great international harvester was now a shadow of its former self, with its identity absorbed into Case IH. The merger helped stabilize IH's agricultural business, but it also led to significant restructuring. Factories were closed, workers were laid off, and IH's remaining operations were streamlined to improve profit. Yet, despite the challenges, Case IH thrived under Tenneco's management, and the combined expertise of IH and Case propelled the new company to new heights. The merger allowed Case IH to leverage International Harvester's long-standing relationships with farmers, ensuring that the brand retained a loyal customer base. For some, the merger offered a glimmer of hope that IH's legacy would live on, even if the company itself had changed forever. While the agricultural division found new life under Case IH, the rest of International Harvester's operations struggled. The company, which had rebranded as Navistar International Corporation in 1986, shifted its focus to manufacturing trucks and diesel engines. Navistar retained IH's truck line, which included medium and heavy-duty trucks used in a wide range of industries. The truck division had historically been profitable, and Navistar hoped to capitalize on the growing demand for commercial vehicles. Navistar's early years were marked by cautious optimism. The company focused on redefining its truck designs, improving fuel efficiency, and enhancing reliability. However, Navistar soon encountered challenges in adapting to changing environmental regulations and maintaining a competitive edge. New emission standards introduced in the 1990s forced Navistar to invest heavily in research and development to comply with stricter rules. Meeting these standards proved difficult and costly, putting further strain on Navistar's finances. To make matters worse, Navistar's diesel engine division faced fierce competition from companies like Cummins and Caterpillar. Navistar's engines were used in a variety of applications, from trucks to construction equipment, but the company struggled to keep up with technological advancements. Navistar was also hit by a series of recalls related to engine defects, which damaged the company's reputation and hurt sales. Although Navistar remained a prominent name in the trucking industry, it was clear that the company was no longer the powerhouse it had been when it was still the almighty, all-dominating International Harvester. At the turn of the 2000s, Navistar was heavily impacted by increasingly strict emissions regulations. To comply with the Environmental Protection Agency (EPA) standards, Navistar spent over $700 million to develop a new emission system called exhaust gas recirculation (EGR). This technology was intended to reduce nitrogen oxide emissions and bring Navistar's engines into compliance with EPA guidelines. However, the EGR system faced serious issues. Customers reported engine malfunctions, decreased fuel efficiency, and increased maintenance costs, leading to widespread frustration among Navistar's clients. In 2012, the situation reached a breaking point when Navistar was found to be out of compliance with EPA regulations. The company faced massive fines and was forced to recall thousands of trucks. This emissions scandal severely damaged Navistar's reputation and led to a class action lawsuit from customers who claimed they had been misled about the effectiveness of the EGR system. Navistar eventually abandoned the EGR technology in favor of a more reliable system, but the financial and reputational damage was done. The emissions scandal was a stark reminder of how far Navistar had fallen since its days as International Harvester. The once revered company was now struggling to meet regulatory standards and facing backlash from its customers. Navistar's future looked uncertain, and many wondered whether the company could survive the fallout. There was only one trick left in their toolbox. In the wake of the emissions scandal, Navistar underwent a major restructuring effort aimed at regaining stability. The company's leadership focused on cutting costs, improving efficiency, and restoring customer trust. Navistar forged partnerships with companies like Volkswagen's truck division, Traton, to strengthen its position in the market. The partnership allowed Navistar to access new technology and resources, helping the company stay competitive in a rapidly changing industry. Under this new direction, Navistar refocused on its core strengths, trucks and diesel engines, while streamlining its operations. The company introduced new models with improved fuel efficiency and reliability, and it worked to rebuild its reputation. By the late 2010s, Navistar had made significant progress, although it was still dealing with the lingering effects of past controversies. In 2021, Traton acquired Navistar, bringing the company fully under the Volkswagen Group. This acquisition marked the beginning of yet another chapter for International Harvester's legacy. As part of Traton, Navistar gained access to global resources and a broader customer base. The acquisition offered hope that the company, now more than a century old, could once again thrive. From its ambitious beginnings in the fields of 19th century America to its transformation into a global powerhouse, International Harvester's story is one of relentless ambition, innovation, and controversy. Along the way, the company faced monumental challenges, from fierce competition and labor strikes to financial crises and regulatory battles. Yet, through it all, IH left an indelible mark on American industry, shaping the way we farm, build, and transport goods. Today, as part of Traton, Navistar carries on the legacy of International Harvester, an enduring testament to a company that dared to push the boundaries of what machinery could achieve. We hope you found this story both fascinating and motivational. Let us know in the comments which company's story you'd like us to explore next. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon.